Hello viewers, in today's video we're going to be talking about structural adaptation. In today's topic we're going to be talking about introduction to adaptation, types of adaptation, structural adaptation, examples of structural adaptation, examples in plants and animals, and how each organism survives. Talking about the introduction to adaptation. In biology, adaptation is the process by which a species becomes fitted to its environment. It is as a result of natural selection acting upon heritable traits. It is an heritable trait that helps an organism, such as plant or animal, survive and reproduce in its environment. It also changes structure, function or behaviour by which a species or individual improves its chance of survival in a specific environment. We have three types of adaptation in biology. One, behavioural adaptation, two, structural adaptation, and three, physiological adaptation. I'm only going through structural adaptation in this video. The climate and condition around the globe vary widely, sometimes creating very harsh habitat for organisms to live in. The millions of different unique species that share our planet have characteristics that are special to them, which help each species to survive in their natural environment. The special characteristics of organisms that make them well suited to their environment are called adaptation, and they make survival possible even in the harshest of conditions. For instance, take a look at this image of the tawny lizard, also called the tawny devil, a type of desert lizard found in Australia. As you can see, this lizard body is covered with tawny spiky scales which serve several purposes. In this lizard habitat, water can often be difficult to find. Through its spikes, the tawny lizard can collect and absorb any water it comes into contact with. These spikes can also help protect the lizard from predators. As these spikes help the tawny lizard to survive in its environment, they provide an example of an adaptation. The tawny lizard adaptation we have just described is called a structural adaptation specifically. These are special physical features that make an organism well suited to its environment. Examples of structural adaptation. Let's go over some interesting examples of structural adaptation and learn about their benefits. Some organisms have structural adaptation that help them survive in extremely cold climates. For instance, organisms like leopard seals, as we can see in the diagram, spend most of their life in the icy water surrounding Antarctica. To cope with the cold, they tend to have a thick layer of blubber under their skin to help them conserve heat. They also have short, thick fur covering their bodies as an extra layer of insulation. When talking about organism, people often automatically think about animals. However, plants have interesting structural adaptation as well. For example, Helodia is a group of aquatic plants which live completely submerged underwater. They have soft, flexible stem and thin leaves which can easily bend, which prevent them from breaking in strong water currents. Special characteristic organism possesses. So far, we've looked at examples of structural adaptation that help organisms survive the climate and environmental conditions of their habitats. How else might an organism benefit from having special physical features? Several organisms have structural adaptation that help them obtain food. For example, let's look at birds. Birds provide us with interesting examples of such adaptation, as different birds have differently shaped beaks, bodies and legs according to their feeding habits. White storks often wade around in shallow water, looking for food. Their long legs and strong feet give them stability as they wade. They have long straight beaks that help them catch fish, frogs and other small water dwelling prey. Alternatively, the European goldfish has a small light body that can perch on narrow branches. Its sharp cone-shaped beak is perfectly adapted to feed on small seeds. In contrast, predatory birds like hawk have sharp hooked claws on their feet to grasp at prey and powerful beaks to rip their prey apart. The feet of water birds like duck are webbed to help them swim and their beaks are broad and flattened to help them filter food out of water. These are just a few of the very structural adaptations of birds that allow them to live and thrive in different environments and to consume different types of foods. Plants also have some interesting adaptation that help them obtain food. Most plants perform photosynthesis to produce their own food using carbon dioxide, water and sunlight. Plants also need other nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. Usually, they obtain this from the soil they grow in through their roots. Where the soil is nutrient poor, some plants have adapted to obtain these nutrients in a different way from insects. These insectivorous plants like the pitcher plant have adapted to trap and digest insects to obtain nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus. Some of the pitcher plant leaves are deep, hollow and pitcher shaped, which is how the plant got its name. The rim of the pitcher sometimes has a sticky substance that traps insects that sit on the rim of it or a slippery substance that causes insects to fall into the pitcher. Inside the pitcher, there is a fluid that digests the insect, breaking it down into nutrients that the plant can use. Structural adaptation can also help living organisms with their movement. The limbs of different animals are adapted to perform the kind of movement that is suited to their habitat and to help them hunt or get away from predators. Although arms, legs, wings, and fins are classified as limbs, they are modified to achieve specific jobs, so vary in structure considerably. Deer have long legs and strong, powerful muscles that help them run incredibly fast. Birds, on the other hand, have wings, which are modified limbs that allow many of them fly. The forelimbs of dolphins are modified into fins, helping them swim. Monkeys and other primates have long, strong arms that help them swing from trees branches. Several animals are highly skilled at hiding themselves in their surroundings, using their shape and color to blend in with their environment. This is called camouflage, and is another example of structural adaptation. Camouflage can benefit both predator and prey. Polar bears are one of the largest predators on Earth. The white fur color of polar bear make them difficult to see against a backdrop of white snow in their Arctic environment, which help them hunt more successfully. In conclusion, let's recap some of the key points we have covered in this video about structural adaptation. Living organisms have special features called adaptation that make them well suited to the environment they live in. Special physical characteristics like appearance of structure that make an organism well suited to its environment are called structural adaptation. Structural adaptation can help living organisms survive environmental conditions, move easily, obtain food and hide themselves. Camouflage is a structural adaptation that help living organisms blend in with their surroundings. Thanks for watching. Please don't hesitate to like and subscribe to our video.